All right, new searches and new clues in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie.
A ransom deadline is set to expire today, and over the weekend, her family says they're willing to pay for their mother's release.
This is very valuable to us.
That was the plea from Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie as the search for their 84-year-old mother enters its second week. Investigators went to 2 local gas stations this weekend looking for clues on security video. They also looked into a septic tank on Guthrie's property and searched her daughter and son-in-law's home. A Tucson news station reports a ransom note they received demands $6 million in Bitcoin by 5 p.m. today. But a former SWAT team captain says he doesn't think there's been any direct communication with her suspected kidnappers.
We still have no valid two-way communication with this possible hostage taker and the author of these ransom notes. It's been all one way. And I think that both sides are probably getting a little desperate as to start that communication before that deadline comes up.
Yeah, they're saying that's what's happening with all these social media posts by the family. The FBI is now offering a $50,000 reward. Investigators say they still have no suspects in Guthrie's disappearance.
Well, we are joined now by senior coordinating producer of CBS News Crime and Public Safety Unit, Anna Schecter. Anna, thank you for being with us this morning.
Good to be with you.
Okay, so let's talk about some of these latest developments. There's so many and still not enough. A few days ago, a car was towed away from Nancy's home. A roof camera was removed at her home. And then yesterday, law enforcement returned to Nancy's home. They were also seen at the home of the Guthrie's daughter, Annie. So tell us more about that. We know that Annie and her husband were the last people supposedly that Nancy Guthrie was seen with. Is that why they would focus on their home?
It's a great question, and it's good that you're highlighting all the activity that was around Nancy Guthrie's home over the weekend, but then also the Saturday night, roughly 3-hour visit from investigators at Annie Guthrie's home. And they were taking photographs. We had a team out there. They were looking at in and around the garage area. So we don't want to read in too much to this, but Annie Guthrie would care for her mother. They saw each other frequently. And of course, as you note, they were the last people to see her. Annie's husband dropped Nancy Guthrie at home around 9:45 p.m. after having dinner at Annie and Tommaso's home on Saturday evening. So, of course, they're going to want to try to track and trace everything. They also want to know, could somebody have just been aware of Nancy Guthrie being Savannah Guthrie's mother, and would they potentially have tracked Annie's movements, cased the home, cased Nancy Guthrie's home? So there are a lot more questions than answers on that front, but I suppose it's not unusual that they would want to look at that home. Also, the proximity to Nancy Guthrie's home, about a 10-minute drive away, it does make sense, but it is of note that they've had to go back to these scenes after clearing Nancy Guthrie's home within about 24 hours of the initial crime scene investigation occurring on that Sunday afternoon into Monday, when she was first discovered to have disappeared.
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of activity from over the weekend. I think a lot of people now focusing, though, on that deadline that is set for today with the ransom note. Right. There had been the original deadline, then this deadline as of Monday. The family over the weekend saying, in I guess the short way, that they're willing to pay the ransom with that social media video that played out. But, you know, as we were just discussing and heard from some other experts, how do you think the ransom situation is being handled? Because it seems like there isn't communication between the kidnappers and the family. The family keeps releasing these videos, but is there any communication back from what you're seeing?
These videos are desperate pleas to establish that line of communication. And that goes back to the very first one with Savannah sitting on that couch with her siblings on either side, reaching out. It shows how much they're taking that ransom note seriously as potentially very real and directly involved in the kidnapping. And then you saw Savannah Guthrie's brother release another video. And then again, Saturday night, we got, or Friday or Saturday, we had that latest video. That was after the Thursday evening deadline passed. To me, this does signify that they are not getting any response, or at least minimal response back because they are having to do this publicly because the private means of communicating either with that email address that was created when the ransom note was sent through the tip line to the news agencies was not responded to. So just a desperate, tough situation. And also on the family and everyone's mind is this notion that Nancy Guthrie has not had that medication that she needs. And Savannah Guthrie referenced that in the first video that Nancy Guthrie would suffer without it, and then we know from our reporting that it could be fatal if she doesn't get that medication.
Right, which is why they have asked for proof that she is okay, for proof of life. What would that look like, though, with modern technology where we see AI videos every day that we sometimes can't even tell if they're real or not?
It's such a good point, and Savannah Guthrie noted that in her first video message to the captors, saying AI can create images that are not real. We need real proof of life. So what a bad actor could do is take pre-existing photos and videos of Nancy Guthrie and run it through AI to alter it to make it look like she's talking, and it's actually not real. The technology has advanced so much that these fake videos can look very real and even be challenging for FBI experts to determine whether it's real or not. So they wanted to rule that out, and they were very clear. We need a real proof of life. And in Cameron Guthrie's video message, he also asked for, we need to know that you have our mother. Those were the words that he used.
You know, I just find it so interesting. Over the weekend, we were talking about that there was the gas station surveillance video. We make the assumption that they're looking for somebody who may have gone to the gas station, but it seems like there's so much misinformation and rumor that's playing out, you know, over the last week or so. What do you make of that, and what do we know that is real, and what has been misinformation at this point?
It's a great point. There has been so much noise around this story, and it's sometimes hard for our viewers to know, well, what is actually real and what is just a citizen sleuth thinking they might have stumbled upon something, but it's not actually real. So that gas station example is a really good example. Yes, investigators did go to that gas station, but an image circulating online of surveillance video showed an investigator at the counter, not a potential suspect. So that's one really good example. And then there's also been speculation about family members who might be a suspect or the prime suspect, and that has not turned out to be true at all. And the Pima County Sheriff Nanos has had to come out explicitly and say that to counter that misinformation. So it's really been abundant online since day one of this mystery. And I think it's the fact that it is mysterious and we have so many questions and so few answers is what fuels a lot of that misinformation as well, because there's a hunger and for knowledge, for information. And so people fill that void with things they think might be true, but are not based in fact.
Yeah. Which I have to imagine is still so hard for the family then on that roller coaster.
To have someone just disappear.
Yeah. Anna, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be with you.
Stay with CBS LA as we continue to follow the latest developments out of Arizona in the search for Savannah Guthrie's mom.